Yogi Bhajan, you can see here a meeting with Sant Singh Ji, and you can see how Satji was very skeptical of Yogi Bhajan. And Yogi Bhajan is trying to put his hand on Satji and trying to control him with his tantric powers. So Satji was a real saint, and you can see here his body language. He has his arms crossed, and he's not buying what Yogi Bhajan's saying. And so I recently did a interview with a Sikh gentleman who says that he was a brigadier general, which is quite a high rank in the Indian army at the time in 1984, and he met with Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, and he said that Sanchi said that there was a meeting with Yogi Bhajan, Badal, the current chief minister of Punjab, and this Indira Gandhi, who we all know murdered many Sikhs and attacked the Darbar Sahib in 1984. There was this meeting with Yogi Bhajan, Indira Gandhi, and Badal, where Yogi Bhajan offered to assassinate Sant Singh Bhindranwale. And it makes sense to me that this was true, because Yogi Bhajan wanted to get rid of Sanchi. There's every evidence that Sant Singh Bhindranwale Ji was against what Yogi Bhajan was teaching, his tantric yogas, his Hindu Vata teachings. And when Yogi Bhajan saw that he couldn't convince or persuade Sanchi, that he would just try to get rid of him and try to assassinate him. So I think this story is very credible. Like I said, I met with this man and talked to him quite a bit, and I have every reason to believe that his story is true. And so Yogi Bhajan has shown that he met with Indira Gandhi. Here is a picture of Indira Gandhi where Yogi Bhajan is giving her a gift and slightly bowing to her. There are pictures of him with yoga students doing yoga with Indira Gandhi. So I think that this story is very credible, that Yogi Bhajan wanted to get rid of Sanchi. Now here's a picture of Yogi Bhajan with Gyani Ziyal Singh and one of his yoga secretaries. And you can see here his big gems and everything and how he's trying to show off. And of course, we all know that Gyani Ziyal Singh, president of India at the time in 1984, was really Indira Gandhi's henchman. And he did nothing to help the Sikhs at that time. So Yogi Bhajan was close to him, and these are photographs which show that Yogi Bhajan met with Gyani Ziyal Singh. You can see here Yogi Bhajan commiserating with him. You can see me here, 1980, this was in the 80s. One of the only pictures I could find of myself with Yogi Bhajan, because the 3HO people basically destroyed all of them. I'm here in the brown coat here. So you can see, interesting enough, that Yogi Bhajan is here with all the women there on the left. So I want to mention here, if we get cut off in this video, to please go to the next video, which will finish the discussion here. And I'll put the link to that next video down in the description there. So I had a lot of experience with Yogi Bhajan and with his false teachings, and it took me many years to get out of his spell and out of this 3HO organization. I talk about my experiences and how I came to realize true Sikhi and understand what Guru Sikhs are really about. I wrote a book called Confessions of an American Sikh, which I'll be happy to send you a copy of. It's only 99 cents on Amazon if you care to purchase it there too. But if you write me an email, I'll be sure to send you a free copy of the book. And I think it's very good. It tells about my experiences and how I became a Sikh. It tells a little about Sikh history for those who may not be aware of some of the Sikh history. It tells about my meeting also with Sant Singh Bhindranwale Ji. And many people have rated it a very good book. There's 53 reviews now on Amazon, and they've all been four-star average there out of 5 stars. So this is more about what Yogi Bhajan organization was about with these, it talks about sexual energy, and there's a recent review on, or academic study I should say, about Yogi Bhajan called Maharaj Daman Tantric, which I would recommend anybody to read, and I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. This really exposes what Yogi Bhajan was really about, how he lied. Yogi Bhajan was basically a psychopathic liar. And he made up a lot of these yogic exercises, and I think that he designed them basically to hypnotize people. Use loud gong sounds, these hypnotic type meditations. Even now today, the 3HO people will have Yogi Bhajan's voice in the background in a sort of very hypnotic way, trying to induce people to join their cult and to try to get more into their way of thinking about this Bhajanism. So here was an article that was in the Eugene Register Guard, Yogi's legacy in question. This was in 2010. It says, a former follower said he abused his position for power, money, and sex. And there were several his high-ranking secretaries who sued Yogi Bhajan. And so it's really amazing how the Yogi Bhajan people continue to revere Yogi Bhajan, and it really shows what a cult this really is. They use, really disgracefully, they have Yogi Bhajan's tantric painting there in the Espanola Gurdwara, and they bring the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib right under the this really disgusting painting of Yogi Bhajan there. This is in the Dabar of the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. In the Dabar of the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, you should have nothing but the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib there for concentration on there. You shouldn't have these images of anybody really, or especially these tantric images of Yogi Bhajan. Again, this is that statue that they are proposing to build there for this tribute to Yogi Bhajan, 10-foot high statue. And they'll be doing these funny meditations there in Espanola for this 10th anniversary tribute. So for people who would like to videotape this or try to talk to these 3HO people in person to see what they're really about, don't take my word for it. Just visit there. I wouldn't get too close to them, but if you ask them questions, you'll see how defensive they are about Yogi Bhajan and about how they really adore their master, and they treat him like a guru, essentially. This is another picture that's in the Dabar of the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib there in Espanola, of Yogi Bhajan. Here you can see Yogi Bhajan people literally worshiping Yogi Bhajan. There's this big portrait, huge portrait on the wall, not wearing a dastar or anything. Yogi Bhajan was kind of more Hindu than Sikh, I'd say. If he was projecting himself to try to be a Sikh, then he should really be a Sikh and not have these teach these Hindu practices or have these Hindu leanings, in my opinion. This is lawsuits that were filed from his secretaries for rape and torture, and it was just awful. So this is again how the Yogi Bhajan people treat him, and they bow to these idols of Baba Siri Chand. This is a 3HO person bowing to this idol, which is in this cage of Baba Siri Chand there in India. And then again, I want to point out how these Hindu Bhakta people, like the Swami, use the 3HO people for their own means. And they just love it, actually, when these 3HO people come there to Rishikesh or wherever they do these Hindu practices. They use them like they're poster yogis, and they say, oh, look, these white Sikhs, they're doing all these Hindu things, and this is what you should be doing too. So it's not a simple thing, like I said, to say that they just do some yoga, the Yogi Bhajan people. They really do damage to the Sikh religion, and they're not representing us in the correct way. This Gurmukhar, again, is very influential in the yoga community, and she goes there and takes these students there all the time. Worshipping this idol of Baba Siri Chand there at Yogi Bhajan's death place. It goes on all the time. Again, they'll be doing this during that 10th anniversary of Yogi Bhajan's death there in Espanola. And I'm sure that if anybody sees this, that they'll be really as appalled as I am at this goings on there. This is a close-up of that. Oh, by the way, the person who's the sculptor, I know that man from when I was in 3HO. His name is Amrit. And he created this Baba Surichand idol as well. So he has a history of creating these sculptures and idols, and I think Yogi Bhajan had encouraged him to do that as well. So here's Yogi Bhajan. He lived a luxurious lifestyle. This was in Acapulco, where I was there on security. So I know that these are true and correct pictures. Yogi Bhajan, you'll note, never wore a kirpan. And he, again, participated in a lot of pujas. I know for a fact that when I was there in India this last time, I met a Hindu Swami, Pundit, I should say, who told me that he did many pujas and astrology readings for Yogi Bhajan and his family. And this was in Lakshman Jula. There, he had a little shop there where he was doing astrology readings. So I have every reason to believe him. I know that Yogi Bhajan visited Rishikesh and Haridwar, where it was a real stronghold of the Hindus there. And so I have every reason to believe that this Pundit was telling the truth about that. And here you can see the original newsletter in the Parmat newsletter, which shows the Puja Yogi Ji's ash immersion. You can see it right down here in the description. So we know that that's true. And then this was a gimmick the Yogi Bhajan people did to sell some of his robes as like a talisman, like a magic talisman, and raise money for them. These are, again, completely against Sikh teachings, and we need to confront the Yogi Bhajan people about this. And here's jewelry that Yogi Bhajan used to sell and wear, and used to promote it as have magical powers and influence the planets, and just it goes on and on about all the un-Sikh-like and false teachings that Yogi Bhajan did. And here he is with this Jagjit Namdari, who professes to be a Sikh guru in the flesh. The Namdaris put the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib in a closet. And this is Yogi Bhajan commiserating with this Jagjit in Espanola. He invited him there. I was there, it was around 1997. And of course, we didn't know what was going on, but Yogi Bhajan, here you can see all the 3HO people. This was at his ranch there, this Jagjit Namdari there. And they presented themselves just like the Guru. So this shows how SikhNet, these people, really have the secret agenda again to worship Yogi Bhajan, to promote his Bhajanism. And don't be fooled. Again, what can I say? You can see the Yogi Bhajan people prostrating themselves. This is at his death place there in Espanola, New Mexico. You can see them wearing the yogic rings and all this. You can verify that this is a spot where he died. If you look at other pictures of this area, you'll see these same surroundings there. They're prostrating themselves at his death place. I imagine they're going to put that 10-foot high statue of Yogi Bhajan someplace in this area here. Well, these are some paintings Yogi Bhajan did, which show where his true leanings are in this tantric sex energy. It's just, I hate to say it, but Yogi Bhajan was a real sex maniac, and really in all these tantric sex powers. Well, all I can say. You can see this image here is clearly phallic, and he goes on, he describes this one as being power, he says here. It's clearly a phallic penis image. You can see his signature down here. He wanted to sell these paintings. Really disgusting. I had a gallery there in LA, and fortunately I never did do anything. He wanted me to make prints and sell them. Get his word out all over the world about his pornography. This was a picture that Yogi Bhajan had us meditating on, his tantric picture, so-called. This is Garuka in London, teaching some yoga class there at the Sikh Missionary Society. I confronted him here at there, and he wouldn't answer any of my questions. Just said I was angry, you know. Well, yeah, I am angry about it. And I think that every Sikh should be angry that Yogi Bhajan and his people are really trying to distort and use the Sikh religion for their own purposes. It's really slander against the Sikh religion, what they do. And it's very disturbing and really upsetting. So you can see Yogi Bhajan's picture there. Guru Singh, I couldn't believe it. I watched this, or read this article he wrote, where he saved Yogi Bhajan's fingernails, and he put them in this talisman, and he thinks that it protects him from evil. It's just complete nonsense, and it shows their cult-like attitude and leanings towards Yogi Bhajan. Here you can see here, this Hari Jivan sells these gems for prosperity. It just goes on and on. They use these gems to make money. And SikhNet is donate, donate, donate. It's all about money. But I suggest you don't donate to them. You don't know where this money is going. It may be going into making these statues of Yogi Bhajan. It's certainly going into teaching these tantric yoga things. Here's more things. Trending Yogi Bhajan. They got this picture, this T-shirt of Ganesha they're selling, $27.65, and then this T-shirt of Yogi Bhajan here too. So it's all about money. They sell spiritual names. You can see that. And here you can see how 3HO and Yogi SikhNet receive lots and lots of money from these organizations through their sales of Yogi teas. SikhNet received $121,000 recently from these Yogi Bhajan organizations. They're using the Sikh religion here, images of the Sikh Guru for their Yogi teas. Again, the Dabar Sahib is being used here in images. Here, this is just disgraceful how they have this man here with this Yogi tea and biting, and they have a picture of the Dabar Sahib here. It's very disrespectful to the Sikh religion. And they use this for commercial profit. They use Gurbani and this Wagyu shoes to make money on these candy bars. These organizations are all tied in with SikhNet. This was a lawsuit and settlement that all these Yogi Bhajan people signed. They were fighting over this billions of dollars from the Yogi Bhajan Yogi tea and these huge empires of Yogi Bhajan. So they reached a settlement with some of these people, and part of the agreement was they wouldn't criticize or disparage Yogi Bhajan. So this is all part of this lawsuit. It's all part of the public record. The most important thing for Sikhs is that they have to teach the Sikh religion as taught by Yogi Bhajan. That's the part of that settlement. So if they ever tell you that I would follow the Sikh head over Yogi Bhajan, they're lying, because this settlement says that essentially says that if the Yogi Bhajan's teachings conflict with the Sikh Rehat, that they have to follow Yogi Bhajan's teachings. And we saw by the evidence here that I presented that many violations of the Sikh Rehat are committed by Yogi Bhajan and his people. So they're not following the Sikh Rehat, and they're not following the Sikh religion as it should be taught and how the Sikh Gurus taught it. Anyway, so thank you for your time, and I hope you watch some of my other videos. Please understand that Sikhs are really about belief in one God, and we don't have these Babas and people that are trying to substitute their own personalities for what the Sikh religion is really about. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.